guided by the fighter mentor. There are days when the mind isn't tired. It's scattered. And a scattered mind leads to a scattered life. One thought leads to another. One urgency calls for another. And before you know it, the day has slipped away without leaving a trace. The mind also needs to come down to earth. If it stays up too high for too long, everything starts to feel urgent. And urgency, when it becomes a way of life, robs us of precision. Discipline exists to prevent this leakage, to bring what is scattered back to center, not with harshness, with control, with boundaries, with the calmness of someone who knows that not every movement deserves an immediate response. It doesn't come with a bang. It comes as a boundary, as an axis, as a decision not to surrender one's own rhythm to everything that tries to grab attention. If this makes sense, give it a like, turn on notifications, and subscribe to the channel. There's a kind of strength that almost no one sees. It emerges when something important needs to be kept alive without fanfare, when no one is applauding, yet someone still continues to take care of what sustains others. Mental health, in this context, is not a luxury. If the mind is weighed down, breathing suffers. If the mind fragments, decision-making slows down. If the mind is organized, even the most tense flow finds a way through. That's what keeps pressure from becoming part of your identity. When the mind is overwhelmed, everything seems more urgent than it is. When it's stable, even the difficult find a way around it. And it was in a place where the light must keep shining, even when everything else fades away, that this truth first came to light. High on a cliff, the lighthouse beam swept across the dark sea. Down below, nothing stood still. The water crashed, the wind blew relentlessly, and the night tried to swallow everything. But inside, the routine was simple. Check the lens, clean the glass, adjust the mechanism, keep the light steady. There was no room for impulse. If the lamp failed, the entire coast would feel it. Those who work there learn that not all strength is evident at the moment of impact. Sometimes, strength is simply staying awake at the right time, repeating the same careful actions until the darkness is no longer a threat. Discipline, in that context, wasn't harsh at all. It was about precision. It involved respect for what sustains us without drawing attention to itself. It involved taking care not to let what's important get lost in the noise of exhaustion. It was the ability to close out one cycle before encroaching on the next, to conserve energy without guilt, and understand that consistency doesn't stem from exhaustion, but from conscious choices repeated over time. While many try to compensate for wear and tear with more effort, she acted quietly, organizing priorities, protecting her focus, and preventing excess from turning an ordinary day into a series of accumulated overloads. It was that very same principle that manifested itself in a different way in a rehearsal room where the sound had to be precise. The musicians arrived in silence, instruments in hand, sheet music open. Nothing there allowed for haste. An early entry disrupted the ensemble. A pause that lasted too long broke the flow. So the conductor didn't shout. He simply stopped. He started over. He corrected one detail, then another, until each part stopped competing with the others for space. At first, it seemed slow. Then it seemed clever. In the end, it became real music. Because the repetition of that rhythm revealed something that anxiety usually hides. A good result almost never comes from rushing, but from precision repeated until a whole form emerges. Focus works this way, too. It's not constant tension. It's staying focused on what matters while the rest tries to distract you. It's continuing to look at what needs to be adjusted until the right form emerges. And when that happens, the mind stops running in circles and begins to maintain a clear direction firm enough to cut through the noise without getting lost in it. Some people waste energy trying to force their way through life. Others learn to address what's holding them back. The second approach is quieter, but it's also more powerful. Because instead of fighting everything at once, It observes where energy is being wasted and addresses the root cause of the drain. It doesn't seek speed at any cost. It seeks direction. It doesn't try to conquer the day through force, but through clarity. Over time, this approach reduces excess, avoids unnecessary conflicts, and creates a stability that allows one to move forward without carrying the constant weight of urgency. It's progress that's less visible at first, but much more solid when challenges mount and pressure begins to test what truly sustains a journey. There's a big difference between moving and making progress, between filling hours and charting a course, between being tired and being truly drained. Many people spend an entire day being active and yet end up feeling disconnected, lacking clarity, and without a sense of progress. Because real progress doesn't come from excessive movement, but from the energy invested in moving your life forward. And it was in a third place too high up the city's noise that this logic took on a new form. At the observatory, night fell early. The dome rotated slowly. The telescope pointed into the darkness, as if searching for something that didn't yet have a name. There, no one could rush to conquer the sky. You had to wait, look, adjust, breathe, and look again. The technician who looked after that space had a simple habit. Before opening any control panel, he would spend a full minute without touching anything. He would just observe. He would just gauge his own attention. He would just let his thoughts stop racing. It doesn't seem like much, but it's precisely that little bit that keeps the mind from becoming disorganized when the silence is too overwhelming. Because in places like this, mistakes don't come from too much action. They come from the rush to see things before getting them in order. Mental health is about that, too. Learning to endure the emptiness without filling it up haphazardly. Learning to sustain your attention without breaking down inside. Learning to wait for the right moment without feeling useless just for being present. True discipline understands this. It doesn't force things. It brings things into alignment. It doesn't run rush-out over things. It preserves. It doesn't need noise to exist. It proves itself in what remains stable when everything around it tries to become excessive. Breathe now, slowly. Breathe in. Hold your breath. Breathe out. Feel the rush of energy leave your body a little. There's a quiet strength in those who learn to make less noise inside. It is not weakness. It is mastery. Those who master their own attention stop living on the fly. And that changes the way you approach every hour of the day. Because your mind no longer gets distracted by everything that comes up. It focuses on what matters, avoids pointless reactions, and stays committed to what you've consciously chosen, even when your surroundings try to pull you in another direction. And that's what changes everything. The day ceases to be a place where life works against you. It becomes a space where you can finally build something without falling apart in the process. The difference lies in stopping treating every moment as a threat and starting to treat it as building material. That way, what once wore you down and fragmented you becomes a foundation for something more stable, clearer, and more truly your own without requiring you to lose yourself in order to keep going. Those who learn to tune their own rhythm stop merely surviving the day and begin to shape it from within. When this happens, even ordinary tasks take on shape and no longer seem like a chaotic sequence of obligations. The body responds with less tension, the mind with greater clarity, and presence ceases to be a brute effort and becomes a natural part of the journey. The most profound change almost never happens amid the noise. It happens in the adjustment that no one applauds, in the boundary that protects, in the pause that saves, in the closure that keeps the burden from carrying over into the next day.